Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Good evening. How's it going?
Doing good, Cyril. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. Doing all right. It's been a wet week, but it's been a warm week for winter. And I don't know if that's a good thing, but I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts.
Exactly. Yeah, my Camaro melted, and I finally got to drive it for the first time in like 2 months. It's like, all right. Yeah, it was awesome. So, hey, want to say hello to everyone out there? Thank you for tuning in today. Let's see who we've got in the audience so far. And of course, our number one was Abdul. Hey, it's great to see you, Abdul, and I love the fact that you're always the first one here. Thank you, buddy.
How's it going, Abdul?
And Rose, my dear, love it. And I love the shark battle you sent me. That is so cute. Anybody wants to know what it is, definitely get a hold of Rose in Down Home Crypto Discord and find out about it was the sharks and what was the other one?
The little Marines, or are you talking about the dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs versus sharks. Man, that was epic. Hi, Chrome. Good to see you, buddy. And Cyril's, and everybody's making fun of me because I was late. I was not late. I was perfectly on time by my watch.
Is your watch 2 minutes slow?
It was a minute, but we won't talk about it. And Austin Clark, good to see you, buddy. And
Hey, Austin.
So yeah, it's definitely been an interesting week. Not only has the weather started to melt, the weather warming up, which is kind of odd, but the markets are doing some strange things. Now, in the last Rags to Riches, as many of you know, we talked about buy even when the streets are running red with blood, even if that blood's zero. It's a great sale opportunity. But over the last couple of days, we've seen kind of this weird plateau. It doesn't know what it's doing. It's almost like a consolidation mode. So, Cyril, what is going on that?
Yeah, right now, Bitcoin is riding the M100 on the daily chart, the moving average, time period 100. And it's trying to decide if it wants to fall down through there and head to the 33.8 region, or if it's going to gather support here. I'm NFA, of course, but I'm feeling that we're kind of looking at about a 62% chance that support will hold here and a 48% chance that it won't, right? Sorry, that would be a 38% chance. Yeah, it's been a long day. I didn't get much sleep last night. Sorry. But yeah, and a 38% chance that it won't, and that the MA100 on the daily chart will not hold, and we'll see that 33.8 region. But we'll see what happens. That's why as traders, we DCA. As investors, we DCA, and as traders, we break our positions into smaller pieces, and we plan for both outcomes.
And that's a good logical way to do it. And we definitely got to talk about that here in a sec. But I see Austin Clark in here saying, hi, cuties. He says, we're going to 35K. Straight up, problem solved. Okay, so Austin, we're going to mark your words on that. And if we don't, man, we're coming after you. That's all there is to it.
He didn't say NFA, so I'll and I know where he lives. So right. If he's wrong and you lose money, let me know and I'll go break his legs.
Perfect. All right. Okay, sounds good. Now I know my investments are always my own responsibility, and I hope everybody out there, hope you realize that it doesn't matter what we say, it doesn't matter what anybody else says or what article you read. The financial decisions you make are 100% your responsibility. So do them wisely.
Yep.
And Timmy says, dollar cost average as much as you can. Man, I am with you, Timmy. Very wise advice there. And as an investor like me, doesn't matter if you put $1 in or $1,000 in, just put something in. And, Timmy, that brings up something today I ran into. I got called out today to do an electrical job. As you guys know, I'm a journeyman electrician. And every once in a while, I get a phone call. It's like, hey, can you come help me? Like, sure, not a problem. And I went and I met up with this really nice lady. And she had some strange problem with her electrical. Got it fixed, no problem. And told her that, yeah, I don't do this full time. She's like, oh, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a content creator and I educate people on crypto. And she's like, oh, well, I don't have any money. And I thought about that. It's like, it's really interesting. The people that need this information the most, the ones that you and I all know about, who are living check by check by check, they're the ones who are not in here. They're the ones not learning. So I'd really like to know, everybody in the audience, do you know somebody who could utilize this information? And then answer me this. Why aren't they here? Why haven't you told them about it? Or what is their hang up? I'm really curious. What are people not getting into this for? I mean, is there a specific reason? I mean, if we say that, well, I don't have the money, well, that's what Rags to Riches is all about. It's giving up a pizza. It's giving up a cup of coffee. It's scraping up some change out of your couch, whatever you got. This whole journey is to help those people. So what is the biggest hangups you're having talking to these people? Share them with me here. I'd love to know about it.
I know I've heard my fair share, and I think it all boils down to two things. I'm definitely curious to hear what people listening say, and so drop it in the comments there. In my experience, it comes down to one of two things, and that's either A, they still distrust it, right? Because the narrative painted on it so in the beginning, right, was just so negative, and now you've got all these big companies trying to get into it, and they never really updated the narrative, right? They never told people, oh yeah, that's because we were trying to kill it at first, right? And it just went by.
Now we have to adopt it. It's like we don't got a choice.
Right. But they haven't updated the narrative yet, right? So a lot of people still distrust it. And then the second reason that I hear most frequently is that it's too complicated. It's too complex, right? There's so many steps to get involved with it, and it's not quite the ease and the quality of life that they're used to with most of their apps isn't really quite there yet in crypto. I mean, we're seeing a lot of that come out with like Coinbase and crypto.com and those other platforms, but it doesn't help when other platforms that were less properly managed, right? Like FTX, that everybody was investing in, that they saw up on the side of stadiums and, adverts and yada yada, folded the way that it did, right? So that doesn't instill a lot of trust, which leads back to the first issue of they don't trust it yet.
Right. And yeah, I think that's a big one. And the complication side, now it's really interesting because I'm seeing even MetaMask is onboarding more and more details. I mean, now they have bridging right in MetaMask. I think that's going to be one of the first things you see as a mainstream wallet that operates in the DeFi space. Because, I mean, you can onboard, you can offboard, and you can bridge all in the MetaMask wallet. So I think it's pretty cool. I think they're definitely on something there.
And I don't know if you saw it or not, but MoonPay now allows people to log in and with a Google login, right?
No, I haven't.
So you don't have to go through that whole process that you used to have to go through as a first-time user. You can just log in with Google, and then it will draw from whatever card you have on file, and it's very easy to just onboard money into the space now. And that's right there through MetaMask.
Right. So yeah, it's definitely getting there. And hey, Funny Toro, good to have you with us, buddy.
What's up, man?
And Funny Toro saw you on Kirk announcements. Strapping your young lad. And Funny says, met John during my travels. Ooh, nice. Got a few projects, and that's nice. Sounds like you've been getting connected there, Funny.
That's awesome.
And getting Cyril's funds. Enough said. We're going to talk about that. In fact, Timmy, I threw that down real quick. Okay, so getting Cyril's funds, enough said. I've got a couple of questions for Cyril about that. Now, we'll cover that in a second here, guys, but I want to make this very clear. The questions I ask have nothing to do with shilling, but all to do with clarification. I want to make sure we understand that. So we'll get into that in one second. Make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Chrome says, two main things are always: one, it's a scam or fraud, and two, it's complicated. Those are great ones, Chrome. And so let me ask you. And also a lack of understanding. Okay. So you as an investor, being here in this space, joining me and Cyril today, you have this amazing amount of opportunity to help somebody else, not with finances, not with giving them money, but with a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of time. So I've got to ask every one of you, have you gone out and talked to these people and said, hey, I would like to help you understand how, for the price of a cup of coffee a week, or just changing your couch, you could start building a new future for yourself? Have you tried doing that? And what kind of responses have you gotten when you have? What about you, Cyril? When you do try to reach out and help somebody, what kind of responses have you gotten, buddy?
To be honest, I don't generally do a lot of reaching out in regards to that. right? Generally, people are either reaching out to me because they know that I'm involved with it if they want to know about it, right? If people aren't seeking out the information, they're probably happy and fine with the way things are, right? You saw a whole era of people not bother to learn how to use computers, right? and now they're like, how do I send an email? But there's a whole bunch of people from that generation that did learn computers and helped pioneer the web industry and everything like that, right? So it's like, if they don't want to, and they're fine with the way things are, and they don't want to adjust with the technology, they don't have to, right? I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, and chances are, if they're not interested in crypto, I might ask them more about like, okay, well, what's your stock portfolio? Like, are you building towards that, right? Some people just don't want to upgrade with the new tech, and that's okay.
Yeah. And, I know several of those. I worked with at Nashville and stuff, and people that had money in a safe and money in a bank, things like that, but they really don't do anything beyond that. Yep. And the one thing I find is most of the people really don't believe they're smart enough, or that they have enough money to invest in crypto, or even where to start. And so oftentimes when I reach out to somebody and I talk to them for just a minute or two, they start looking interested, like, wait a minute, I don't have to have $1,000. I don't have to have like this huge portfolio, and it's not crazy. And once they start to realize that, they got a little bit interested. So here's what I like to challenge everybody watching today, and everybody watching the restream on this, is talk to one friend, one coworker, one person who this journey could benefit them. If nothing else, just the experience alone. Invite them to come in here with us. Give us an opportunity to talk to them, say, hey, we want to help you change. And if they don't want to, that's fine too. If they don't feel they're smart enough or rich enough or whatever, give them the Down Home Crypto link and bring them to the Discord. We'd be happy to talk to them, help them set up a wallet, whatever they need. I mean, I've got a ton of video series on Down Home Crypto with Serenity on YouTube. I'm also got another bunch that I just dropped in the family channel on Discord. If you're a family member, you just saw those. Those are for the Project 2033, and they're specifically in the DeFi world. And they're going to be totally free to everybody at Down Home Crypto. Make no mistake. But this information, I really want to get out, and I want to try and help people. And I'm going to need your help. So share it with your friend, a family member, a coworker. Bring them in. Say, hey, just tune in. See what these guys have to say. If you're interested, great. We'll help them out. And if not, that's fine too.
There you go.
Okay. And Chrome had one more comment, then I got my questions for you, Cyril. From what I see, it's most people who just don't care. Think it's too good to be true, or like Cyril said, they're fine with how they're, and that's a great thing. They're fine with how they're living right now. How often is it that they have no idea even the question to start asking, or even know that there's something different? And that's where personally, I think it falls on me to give them just a glimpse, like, hey, you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to put a ton of money, but you don't have to live check by check until you die. There's a better way, man. Just give me 2 minutes. That's all I ask for. And that's usually how I approach people, because most people I know in that field, that's what they're doing. They're 60, 70 years old and still swinging a hammer for a living because they have to. That's not okay.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of people in the industry that I'm in that are older and have nothing in retirement, right? And that's just the nature of it. But with that, it doesn't really matter what you're investing in, whether it's crypto or stocks. You should start with something, anything,
right.
And just a little bit at a time. And there's a reason why, from a money management aspect, one of the most important things to do is to pay yourself first out of the paycheck, whether that's 5%, whether that's 8, 10%, whatever you set it at. Treat it like a bill, right? It goes into the saving or into the investment, depending on, if your saving is 2 to 3 months or not. You just chip away at it, $10 at a time, $15 at a time, whatever you can do, right? But set it aside and then pay yourself first. That way, and you're treating it like a bill, so it's just automatically out of the account. You budget for it, right? And then that way, as time progresses, it builds up. I mean, we've seen here with the rags to riches, just at $25 a week, we're 35 weeks in, and we've got, we're getting close to $1,000 in there, right? And that builds up over time.
Exactly. And yeah, it's like you're saying, Cyril. I mean, our journey started with the price of you and I buying lunch at McDonald's. If you and I went to McDonald's and bought lunch, that's all we're putting into this. So it's one lunch for two people.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's not real hard. But so I'm going to shift gears on us here, Cyril. Now, we've done a live AMA. I've done a couple of videos on the Cure Crew Fund. But now there's been another one come out. So there's now actually 2 Cure Crew funds. And I put a link in the chat earlier. But there's a low risk and there's a medium risk. So here's my question to you is, what is the difference? If somebody has no idea, if they're kind of new at this, and they're like, okay, well, what's the difference between, because they're both Cure Crew Fund, can you give me just kind of a quick synopsis? What makes them different and how do they work?
Yeah, so let's just for the sake of explaining the differences, let's pretend that Cure Crew Fund is like the S&P 500, and then AKKF, the second one, is like the NASDAQ, right? So whereas the S&P 500 tracks like a broader market, right, based off of the assets that it has in its fund, the NASDAQ tracks just the tech sector, right?
Oh, okay.
So the tech sector, the NASDAQ, would be considered a little riskier, right? Because if the tech industry is going down, but infrastructure is going up, then the NASDAQ is going to suffer heavily, but the S&P 500 is going to be not hurting too bad. It would probably be just flat because it's a mixture of both, right?
Okay.
So the S&P 500 would be considered more low risk, and the NASDAQ would be considered medium risk, right? It's not high risk because it's not crappy assets, but it's one specific sector, right? So if that sector performs poorly, then that fund is going to hurt. But if we believe that sector is going to perform well in the next year, then it stands to do better than the S&P 500, because the S&P 500 is going to have other sectors of industry that might be pulling it down or might be holding it stable. So it's not going to go up as much as that one specific sector. So AKKF, its specific sector is the Arbitrum network.
Gotcha. Okay. And that makes a little more sense. And some of you might be asking why I'm asking, wondering why I'm asking this question. There you go. And to tell you, because on our voting poll, you can see right now in the DeFi section, there is a low risk and a medium risk. So please understand when you go in and cast your votes, and I definitely want everybody to vote, and the voting polls are open. I want you to understand what it is you're voting for and why. So if you're not part of the Down Home Crypto Discord already, you haven't cast your vote, let me put a link in the chat right here. And I definitely want to invite everybody out there to jump in. Ask your questions, talk to us, whatever we can help with. But cast your votes here, because that's how you get entered into the dance off, or today it's going to be a wiggle off, to win some cash prizes. So
wiggle.
Yeah.
It's, while I do enjoy the good dance off, sometimes a wiggle off can be fun too,
It can. Especially with the saw blades. It gets pretty gruesome.
Well, hold on. Nobody said anything about saw blades.
Oh, you missed that part? Sorry. It's in the fine print. You got to read that part.
Yeah, I didn't get that memo. I don't know as if I'm okay with wiggling anymore.
Too late. You get to wiggle anyway. So, guys and gals, everybody, if you're watching right now, do you have any questions we haven't covered? Anything that's going on currently in the market that you want us to cover? So if so, throw them in the chat, because I want to make sure we get your questions answered wherever we can.
Well, let's touch on one that I'm sure everyone is probably thinking right now. Like, I thought ETFs was supposed to make the market pump. What's going on? Right? So the first drops that we experienced was apparently FTX was selling a bunch of the BTC that they had as assets. They are in the process of their bankruptcy process of going through and liquidating crypto assets, which FTX held a lot of them, right? So it's going to be significant impacts. And then we also saw Grayscale was selling some of the second leg down that we experienced this week. Previous week was FTX. This week, Grayscale has been selling some of their Bitcoin that they had. And I guess they are using that as cash reserves, or who knows what they're using it for. It seems a little strange to me that they're selling their own news event. And makes me kind of wonder what it is they're going after. And then we also saw one of the Ethereum ETFs get initial application rejection. So all of these factors kind of combining have made the markets a little painful the last 2 weeks. But the word is, from an article that I read probably about 30 minutes before the show started, news is that Grayscale is essentially close to being done their sales, but that they have like one more batch to do, which is why I'm thinking that there's that 38% chance that we might see that 33.8K region, right? That's kind of like the low range of where I see it hitting. It's probably going to come down to like the 40, maybe 41 region. Sorry, not 40. What am I thinking? In my brain, it's still chilling there at 45, I guess. But no, what I mean is it's probably going to come down to like the 34 to 35 region. Because again, anytime you have support or resistance, it's a zone. It's not a specific price point or a specific line. There's that buffer zone on either side of it. So have your low range, have your mid range. When it gets to the high range of where you think, that's where I like to put my first position, right? But I keep my first position smaller. Then I put at the mid range, I put in my second position, and I usually have my second position about twice the size of my first position. And then my third and final position is done at my low range. It might not come down to there. If it does, great. I will put in a position that's 3 times the size of my first position, which is the one that I put in at the high end, right? Then at that point, if it just comes back up to the mid range and then the news is still looking sour, I can close all 3 of them and get out with net profit, because of the way I staggered the order sizes. I started off smaller than I wanted, right? And that's how you can DCA your way in when you're leverage trading or futures trading or anything like that, is you take the total amount that you want to do, and then you break it up into 6 pieces. And then your first position, like I said, it's been a long day. That's your 1/6 of the amount that you want to buy. Your second position is 2/6 of the amount you want to buy. And if it comes down to the third one, then you put in the half, right? The half that you haven't put in so far. Yes, it's going to limit your total potential profits, but it also allows you to do that DCA, right? And there's nothing stopping you from, if you see very strong signs in the chart that it is about to run, right? There's nothing stopping you from, if it comes a little bit below your midpoint and then comes back up and it's getting ready to go for it, putting that other half in, right? Yes, you'll raise your DCA, but you could still do that.
Okay. And so let me ask you on that, so because that makes sense. You know, the 1/6, the 2/6, the 3/6, I understand that. Comes down the center and then it starts taking off. You can take that 3/6 and you can enter a point up here. Not quite as good a price. So when you say it looks like it's strong to run off, does it have to exceed your first one by a certain percentage, or is it all based on the history of the chart or the news, or what gives you that good indication to go ahead and throw that in?
A lot of that's going to come down to the chart patterns, the market action, right? Price action, market structure. And that is found within the patterns. I do what's called pattern trading. A lot of people use indicators like Fibonacci retracements or Gann fans or, yada, 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 right? There's 1,000 indicators out there. I just use my moving averages. It's my simple moving averages. I have them set a specific way, and it allows me to see when it comes down to different levels at a glance, right? I spend maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes looking at charts, maybe every other day, right? Because it's a quick snapshot that allows me to see what I need to see, to know what I need to know. And if I see it come down to one of my moving averages, and then the next candle is a bullish engulfing candle, right? There's a term for you to Google. Then I'll know, okay, that's a really good show of support there. But it's important to remember, you want to see good wicks on the bottom before you're buying. See those good wicks on the bottom of your candles, because wicks are created by big money, and big money buys levels. They don't sit there and wait for a confirmation. A lot of newer traders, they tend to wait for a confirmation, right? At that point, you've already missed probably about 40% of the move. Waiting for it to, it's got to break up past, the lip line, and then, confirm by coming down and tapping it before it runs off after breaking my cup and handle before I'll buy, right? Meanwhile, people like me or people who know they're trading, they're buying at the bottom of the handle, right? Because they've seen the indication that it's getting ready to turn back up, which confirms this is the pattern forming. We're going to go ahead and trade it. And we get in earlier than everybody else, so we get out earlier than everybody else, so we don't get caught holding a position as it goes red from everybody getting out.
Very wise. Okay, so now I want to definitely, everybody who's watching this, if you have no idea what he just said, don't feel alone, because there's a lot of us that don't. But you know what's one of the great things about being part of the Down Home Crypto Discord is you can go in and you can talk to Cyril, and you can talk to Austin Clark. And you can talk to these people that do this for a living. And if you're serious about it, don't hop and say, hey, Cyril, can I copy you? I can tell you right now, the answer is no. And Austin's going to say the same thing, no. But if you want to learn, if you truly want to learn how this works, these guys are the ones to talk to, because they know what they're talking about. In fact, Austin learned from Cyril. And so, yeah, it's the knowledge grows on, and we want to perpetuate that. So if trading is something you're interested in, jump in the Down Home Crypto Discord and talk to these people. Ask them, how do I get started? Where do I start? They will line you out.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of, Austin spent the time to develop some very helpful indicators that you can import onto your chart, and it will actually, I believe it auto trades for you as well, based off of the setup with those indicators. And if you want to know more about them, shoot me a DM on Discord. I can give you a link that will give you more info regarding the indicators that he's got.
Perfect. And AC Trace says, tag me if you ever want to learn. These crypto Ponzi's will lose you. This skill will always give you value. Man, Austin, thank you, buddy. That's awesome. And says, and Serenity, just as someone mentor me, I'm waiting to mentor you. Cool. One of these days, I will slow down and learn. I promise, Austin, because yeah, it's one of those, I've got to learn it. My wife is doing an amazing job.
I think you would like Austin's style of trading, because he and I have two very different styles when it comes to trading. And I think that Wild Angel obviously would do better with my style of trading. And I think you would do better with Austin's style of trading, because it's a lot more fast-paced. There's a lot more going on. And I think that you would get more fulfillment out of that, because that's the thing, right? Like, I'm not the right person to teach everyone, right? Like, I am just me. I am not some trading master or some chart god or anything like that, right? As this guy likes to keep saying, I may not be the right person to teach you, or anything like that. And that's why you got to, explore your options. And if I know that you have a certain kind of style, I can be like, hey, I know this guy whose trading style matches that style. Let me connect you. Let's get something going, because there's something for everyone, right? You might not be good at futures trading, right? Maybe leverage is not a power you should have, but there's options available for everyone.
Right. Well said. And I think that's really important, guys. And, if you're watching this and you don't know where to start, you don't know anything about crypto, not a problem. Jump to the Discord. I guarantee there's somebody in there that will help you on whatever part of the journey you want to learn about. Whether it's trading, it's investing, it's pretty much anything. If you want to learn how to mint NFTs, we got people in there for that too. So no worries.
Yeah, but
and Austin says trading is just like learning to drive a car. You're not picking on the vehicle you learn, but as you learn, you develop your own style. That's very true, Austin. It's a good point.
I like his follow-up comment.
You may hate driving trucks, but learn to truck. Swing trading, then develop your style of loving to drive cars. Day trading. I like that. That is good. And see, I'm one of those. I've always felt very blessed. I can get in anything with a motor. I can drive it, ride it, fly it. Doesn't matter. I've just had that mindset, so it made sense to me. But and so yeah, Austin, I will definitely be reaching out to you because I look at Cyril's charts. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna like die waiting for this to do something. Sounds like yours a little more active. Might keep me going. So we will definitely.
I do the truck driving, the swing trading. He does the day trading, right? Which is why I'm saying, you can check everybody's style. And if your style does not mesh with mine, then I know somebody that it would mesh with, and but I am curious. I want to see exactly what these saw blades are you were talking about to know what I'm about to wiggle myself into.
Hopefully you wiggle yourself out of it because this is going to be ugly.
I'm going to try. Oh, wait a minute. My name doesn't go on the list.
But Rose does. You get to cheer for your lovely wife.
That is true.
Yes. But on top of that, I want to definitely say thank you to everybody out there who's watching, everybody who's watching the restream of this, because we just set a record of the amount of people who voted this week. Kid you not. Check this list
There's a
out.
scroll bar?
There's a scroll bar, buddy. Look at this. 27 people. Yes. Nice job, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we actually have a scroll bar on this. That's why we can't do a dance-off.
Because that has a 24-player max.
Exactly. So, unfortunately, we can't do a dance-off. We're going to have to do the Growfish Royale. That's okay. It's fun, too. So, as you guys know, the rules remain the same. Everybody is in there, and including me. And if I happen to win, I add $10 to the pot, and we go again with the same people. But the details are, you must cast your vote before the polls close. This was the last week's vote. They closed last night at midnight. The new polls are open right now, and you have up until Wednesday at midnight, my time, to cast your vote. So definitely jump in and cast your vote after the stream. Don't do it right now. You'll miss the show, and that suck. But if you are a winner, the trick is you have to DM me in Discord, Down Home Crypto Discord, to verify to get your prize. So you can't catch me on the rerun on this. You got to catch me while we're live, because once I hit end stream, that prize goes to next week. So I hope you're watching, and I hope you win. Okay, so there's the Down Home Crypto Discord. Make sure to join, cast your vote if you haven't already, and if you do win, that's where you're going to DM me. Are we ready?
Without you guys doing your votes, we don't know what to put the $25 into each week, right? Then I have to decide, and I'm just going to put it in some kind of blue chip each time, right? And that's not a very exciting thing. So make sure you go in there, make sure you vote. And then if you want to add something to the vote list, be sure you go into the Discuss the Vote channel right underneath it and tell us about it. That way we can learn, because I cannot research the 50,000 projects out there. We're a team. Right? We're all, as much as I hate to do this, consider yourself lucky, but we're all in this together. So, find those cool things. Tell us about it.
And never be afraid to share your information there. Not everybody is going to like what we have to say. Not everybody is going to agree with our investment opportunities or possibilities. That's okay. That's what makes Down Home Crypto so amazing, because we have everybody in there. So please never be afraid to share your opinions, your thoughts, your questions, whatever you got. Somebody in there wants to learn it, wants to hear it, and you can connect with some awesome people. Okay.
Right.
You ready? In
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
All right. That's a lot of worms.
It is a lot of worms. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, he put seesaw blades.
Oh,
I think it was BTK. Sorry, BTK.
I think I just saw my wife die.
Oof.
Oh. Oh no!
See, told you saw blades, man. Okay, who's still alive? I see Austin in there. I see Falco. Agata, you're still in it. Funny Toro.
Suddenly, I'm glad I'm not wiggling around anymore. Oh no!
Oh, that hurt. I just saw John. He got wiped out. Sorry, buddy. Oh, Roostar bit it. All right.
Oh.
Austin's still there.
Wait a minute. Chrome's already gotten taken out. Oh,
That's
there went
right.
Austin.
Oh, sorry, Austin.
Oh no! Rip.
Oh, Thomas RR. He just blew up. Atiku, I think you're going to go. Let's see. Ooh, that was close. Oh, no, he's buzzing.
Super speed.
Turbo. Shoo. Ooh, that was close. Oh, Abdul, you're going to blow, man. You're going to blow. Danger, danger.
Oh, no, he's going to take out Falco. Oh, nope.
Ooh, Falco and Jastein. Ooh, who can do it?
Ooh, that was... Oh, Jay... No.
Oh, man, let's get sketchy. Now they're chasing each other. Falco's gone. Jastein.
Congratulations.
Right.
Oh, and he still got taken out at the end. That was great.
That's okay. He won. So, Jastein, my man, make sure to DM me before the end of this stream, and I will definitely get your funds sent over to you. Probably tomorrow night once Wild Angel's home from work.
Well, congratulations, Jastein. Hopefully you're listening in and can DM Serenity to claim your prize.
Absolutely. And BTK says so much blood. Oh my God. Yeah, it's kind of gruesome. Kind of fun too at the same time.
If you didn't win this week, remember, you can hop into the Down Home Crypto, you can vote, and that'll enter you in for next week. And that is live and closes Wednesday night next week. So
absolutely. And yes, you are free to get a hold of Jastein and make sure he DMs me and then charge Mike 30% for reminding him. That's what I would do. It's like, okay, I'm calling you, but you got to give me half. And Chrome says it was a bloodbath. Yes, and Chrome died right off the bat. Everybody was happy. Sorry, Chrome, but they cheered, man.
Yeah, sorry, you just win too much. It's time to let somebody else have the win.
Exactly. BTK says, congrats, Jastein. Chrome says, congrats, Jastein. Yes. Good to see Jastein win. Love the man. And yeah, he's always here supporting. So thank you so much. Okay. So, Cyril, man, last week was a bloodbath. That's why Rags to Riches last week has a bloody knife with a big question on buy. See it? Pretty gruesome. But it's true. I mean, it really is. This week doesn't look much better. So I'm guessing our portfolio has probably been bleeding out. So, buddy, what's the bad news?
All right, let me share the screen. 1 second. Of course, I could have been doing that when you started talking about it, but we're going to pretend that was not the case.
Of course.
All right, so is it shared? Cool. All right, so this week 35. Started off the week with $942.85. We ended the week with $869.15 for a loss of $73. Well, technically not a loss yet because we haven't sold. For a reduction in value of $73.70 or 8.48%. However, our portfolio as a whole is only currently down 0.45%.
Wow.
So,
okay, so even though we've had all that red I see on the screen, we're only down less than 1% for our portfolio?
Less than 0.5%, yes.
Nice. Now, one thing you said, Sarah, I want to interrupt your introduction here because you said, I'm going to just close that, a reduction in value. We didn't lose, and I think that's an important thing we've definitely got to remind everybody, whether you're just tuning in or you're living in this space for a while now. Please keep that in mind. You have not lost unless you sold. That's really important.
Well, I said something last week, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's important to remind people about, but the bear market is not for profits. The bear market is for positions. The bull market is for profits, not positions. If the charts are way up, right, that is not when you buy, right? We've been talking about FOMO for 35 episodes now. Don't do it, right? Like that's how y'all wound up here in the first place. You bought in at the peak and then you're like, crap, why is everything going down? I thought it was going to keep going up. I guess I got to learn about it now, right? And then you wound up here, right? And we're not technically in the bull market yet. Yes, we've seen some decent price recovery, but we're not in the bull market yet, right? The bull market traditionally does not start until post halving, which doesn't occur until what, like April, something like that? Yeah.
April 23rd, something like that.
Right. And it doesn't generally really actually kickstart the bull run until between 3 to 5 months after the halving, right? So we shouldn't even be expecting profits right now because we are not technically in the bull market yet. Not until we hit that point where traditionally this market cycle structure shows we enter the bull market. So with that in mind, we're just building position. And the fact that our DCAing has allowed us to build a position that's only down 0.45% during the bear market shows you the power of DCA, right? You know, if we had come along and said, you know what, I'm going to chuck $950, or I think at this point we've invested a total of $900. I'm going to chuck $900 into Bitcoin, right? And you had done that during the bull run when Bitcoin was at 68K, and you know, you would be down. You'd be down significantly. Probably, what's that work out to be? About 39 to 40%, something like that. I don't know. But you know, and that shows you the power of DCA. So, anywho.
Okay, so yeah, and that's something that we're going to keep reiterating. We're going to keep reminding you because it's so easy to become emotionally involved. Say, "Oh my God, look at the red on our chart. We're down $100 some odd in value." Really not. We didn't sell nothing. It just isn't worth as much as it was yesterday. That's fine because I know what it's going to be worth 6 months from now, or a year, or 5 years from now. So it doesn't bother me a bit.
Right. We're just focusing on building that position. That is what the first 52 episodes of Rags to Riches was about. It's why I committed initially to the first season of 52 episodes to talk about building the positions and getting into the right mindset and introducing these concepts slowly over the course of a year because we've got time, right? We know about how long bear markets typically last. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's bring some education out there. Let's teach people about the power of positioning during a bear market so that they have a much better story other than I broke even when Bitcoin came back up to 68K and I got out, right? You know, much better story. It
is. And so, absolutely. And remind me at the end, I've really got something I've got to cover on that, Cyril. So just refresh my memory at that point in time. But first, I've got to take a quick pause. Everybody out there, got to pause for half a second because one of our amazing viewers is having a birthday today. So, Lady Z, happy birthday, dear.
Happy birthday.
Thank you for spending it with us. And you, Bonks, thank you, brother, for sharing that with us. Love to see you, my man. Okay, so back on task. Sorry. Shiny object. I got distracted. Whoa, what did I?
No, you're fine.
You closed your screen.
Yes, I did because that was the portfolio update.
Oh, that was it. Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. And everybody says, Alex, happy birthday. So yes, right now we're not going to dive deep into the portfolio. We know the value is down. Haven't lost anything. It just doesn't look as pretty as we'd like to see. What that means, though, is it's an opportunity. Yes, everything is on sale. Buy some.
Yep. And it's kind of like, all right, so recently I was looking at switching out the monitor that I was using for my desktop. And I was looking around and I saw one that looked good, right? And I was watching it and I looked at the price history and I saw that it had come down and it was on sale. And I was like, sweet, I'll go ahead and buy it. But then I was like, let me wait. Because the last month, every week, they were discounting it more heavily. So I'm like, let me wait until next week and then I'll pick it up, right? And so I did. I was able to get it on sale. So, but what if it hadn't reduced, right? I'd still be buying it at the same price that I bought it this week. So that's why we DCA. A little harder to DCA with something like a monitor, but just because you think the price might continue going down, that's why we don't buy it all at once, right? We split it up. We buy it over time. That way, if the price does go down further, right, we're just getting a better cost average. If the price winds up going up a bit, okay, so we paid a little bit more for it that time. Maybe the monitor went up 5% that week, the following week, instead of down 5%, and I had to pay a little bit more for it, right? That could have happened too. But so it's just something to be aware of. And that's why I'm constantly harping on the power of DCAing, and that the bear market is for building the position. Because even though the portfolio value is down currently, if you're not selling it because it's not the bull run yet, it's not profit time, right? Then it really doesn't matter. You're building a position over a period of time because you understand the market structure, and you're like, okay, at this point in the future, it should be worth in this range, right? And so that's why I'm accumulating it here, and it doesn't really matter what the price is here. It's kind of like people who bought Bitcoin at 10K, right? A lot of people called them stupid because they were paying 10K for a Bitcoin. A lot of people then, when Bitcoin went to 20K almost, were like, man, I wish I bought it when it was at 10K. Then it came crashing back down, and they felt vindicated. They were like, ha 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 ha, look at you idiots who bought it at 19K, whatever. But then they were kicking themselves once again when it went up to 68K for not buying when it was at 19K. Maybe the smart people who bought it at 35K or 40K. I got in like the 4,300 region. I think it was like between 43 and 45. Yeah, so that's where they're buying, because they know, hey, it's on sale, right? It's on at a discount. This is a good time to get it. If I had paid more, would I still be happy later? Yes, right? Because I have the asset and it's worth this now, so I get to sell it. Doesn't really matter what I paid for it previously. I get to sell it for this, right? Same principle.
Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting on that, Cyril, because we look at, you back up, 4 or 5 months ago, and Bitcoin was way down, subterranean range. And like, oh, it's going to go lower. I'm going to wait. And then all of a sudden it started spiking up over the last month or so. And I was like, oh, I should have bought it back then. Oh my God. I'm okay. Fine to buy it now. But now we see the price dropping. This is where we really have to take a step back and analyze our emotions on a larger scale. When it was down low, we thought, oh, it's going to go lower, so we'll wait. Well, it didn't. It went up. Then we kicked ourselves because we missed it. Now it's dropping down. So my question is, why aren't you DCing into something? Whatever it is, whether it's Bitcoin, AVAX, so on. I don't care what it is. Whatever you think is going to be a long-term, I said the bad word, I know. Whatever you think is going to be a long-term hold, and it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what that guy thinks. It matters what you think, because you are responsible for your own investment. The biggest question is, if the price is dropping now, why aren't you building a bigger portfolio of the crypto you believe in? That's my big question.
I know people when Bitcoin was at 17.8, kind of at like the bottom of the bear market there. I know people who were waiting for 12, waiting for 7, right? And they weren't buying. They're like, oh, I'm not buying at this level. It's going lower, right? Well, here we are at 40, not quite, a little under 40. But here we are now, right? Basically more than twice what it was. And they still are like, oh, it's going to go lower.
Yeah, it's there's strategic investing and there's just hoping. And that's a whole lot of hoping. It's not going to go lower. Right now, we're seeing the dip. It's going to go a little lower than it is now. But if you think it's going to get back to that 20K range, I think you're delusional, personally. And either way, it wouldn't matter, because if you wait until then, you're probably going to miss it. So I'd say take whatever pile of money you have, split it up, and start buying a little this week, a little next week, a little next week, a little next week, and buy that dip. And then when it comes back to here, you got a good return and watch it skyrocket.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, we say it to joke, but literally is this simple. You just, when an asset is low, you buy it, right? And then when it's high, you sell it.
Right.
That's as complicated as it is. And there's going to be times where you buy an asset while it's low and then it goes lower and you have a choice. Do I believe that this asset will go higher? If the answer is yes, then you can choose to double up, or you can choose to just hang on to it and wait instead of realizing a loss or panic selling because you're down, right? Because remember, the emotions, they are very strong. It's human nature to have the emotions. You're not going to be emotionless. When people, I know I said it before, but I will touch on it again. When people say be emotionless in trading, they're not telling you to not have emotions, right? You're going to have emotions. You're human. At least most of you. Some I'm not sure of, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So what you do is you're going to feel the emotion, but you need to understand it, right? Allow yourself to feel it, understand where it's coming from, whether it's, I'm seeing it go down and this is just fear, right? Like, I know logically that supply and demand, Bitcoin's a diminishing supply, it's that fixed supply, right? The amount that's being emitted diminishes with each, halving. The price is probably likely to go up higher than it is now, right? Or where I bought it at. So I'm just going to be patient. I'm just going to wait. It's hard to be patient, but that lack of patience is part of the reason why your emotions keep messing you up, right? And why you keep taking those losses. And it makes it even worse when you add the anxiety of things like leverage to it, right? Where if it comes down a certain amount, well, then you just lose your money, right? If things like leverage and make you anxious, or you haven't learned how to properly let go of the emotions, think it out rationally, use the logic, understand where the emotions are coming from and let them go before you make your decisions, then stay away from leverage trading, right? Stay away from futures, options, etc., because that's just going to elicit those emotional reactions more than if you just have the asset, right? If you just buy it at spot, buy it on the market, whatever, right? That way you have it and you can be like, look, it doesn't matter if the price goes down. I can at least rationalize out that in a couple of years from now, when the supply and everything changes and those ETFs are soaking up all the supply and everything, that the price is going to be up, right? It's going to take some time to get there, but it will be higher, right? And that can help you control that emotion, let it go, and think logically.
Exactly. And I think that's a real important thing to put in, especially if you're trying to leverage trade and you haven't dealt with your emotions. You're actually lining yourself up for failure. Once you've learned how to do it or anything else, you're actually, it's sadomasochistic, really. If you're already having trauma with emotions, don't leverage trade, please. Because until you deal with that, you're going to have more problems. It's going to go bad. So definitely jump in, talk to these guys who are traders if that's something you're interested in, or even if you want to know more about DeFi projects or whatever it is, share it in the community. Let's talk about it. Let's find out what the pitfalls are. Because you get enough eyes looking at it, we're going to see it from different angles. And we're going to be able to give you a different perspective and hopefully avoid any more problems.
Yeah, and give you tips and tricks for helping to rationalize away the emotions and waiting until you can think logically about the situation. There's a wealth of advice in any community. Just make sure you know who you're taking advice from if you're going to take advice. But listen to advice from everybody, regardless of what you think of them, and then compile what advice works for you, right? Because everybody's different. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, you're going to think it's dumb, right? But conversely, if you judge me by my ability to swim, you're going to think I'm dumb.
I'm really good at that.
I think it doesn't matter. I do everything exactly the way I'm supposed to. I do not have enough buoyancy in my body. I just sink.
That's fair. And so that's the biggest thing we want to tell everybody here is whatever part of your journey you're on, whether you're a brand new person getting into crypto or you're experienced, being a part of a network of people that have the same passions and beliefs and desires really can add to anywhere you're at. Doesn't matter if you're a master like Cyril here, who's got years of experience in it, he still finds benefit talking to a crazy guy like me. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's just comic relief, but either way, we have a great time and we always learn something.
Yep, absolutely. And speaking of learning, I want to learn what those 27 people voted for.
Yes, me too. And before we do that, I'm going to take one more little quick pause because I want to give one quick shout out to Mr. Yabongs, who I absolutely love and adore, a mentor, a friend. But for anybody who doesn't know, definitely check out his channel here on YouTube and also go to Karma Farm Sanctuary. That's the animal sanctuary him and his wife run down in Florida. It's an amazing place with awesome animals, and he's now got merch. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, all kinds of amazing stuff. So definitely check him out. And either way, Yabonks, brother, thank you so much for always tuning in and joining us today. And looking forward to your show tomorrow, if you don't call in sick again, before Freaky Friday. Yes, that was a jab. I had to do it. So let's find out what everybody voted for. Remember, the voting polls are open for next week, so you can be in the wiggle off again. This week's winners are, drum roll please. Ding! There we go. Hey, guess what? That's the wrong one. Oh my god. Psych. That was last week's. That's why I can't have nice things. There we go. There is this week's.
Okay, so we're going with BTC for the blue chip, which I'm totally down with that because I think BTC is at a great deal right now. We might get it at a better deal next week. So I'm kind of hoping that BTC wins again. But either way, we'll have a great opportunity to add some BTC to our portfolio. And it looks like we're going to have a double opportunity to add BTC to our portfolio because BTC makes up 18.5% of the KKF low risk fund, which is what you guys voted for the DeFi section. So, 18.5% of the $20 that we're putting into the DeFi investment is also going to Bitcoin.
There you go. Well done, everybody. And so, yeah, I was really excited to see BTC came in with 15 votes. I mean, you guys slammed it. That was awesome. Yes. Give us the big dog.
Absolutely.
So, okay. Does anybody have any questions on the voting poll and how this works? If so, toss them in the chat. If there's something you got a question about or don't know about, hey, throw it in. Let's educate you. Let's answer your questions for you.
Well.
And absolutely, Yabongs, brother. Always happy to share the good work you're doing, my man. Thank you so much for stopping in with us. Next business meeting. Okay, see you later, buddy. I will see you tomorrow in Freaky Friday. So, and BTK says later, Alex.
I think you missed BTK's comment up there. Actually, above you, Yabonks.
I did. Still, just totally loving the fact that there's all this red and the Rags to Riches Fund is only down 0.41%. It just proves how sick DCA is. I can't get over it. Yeah, BTK, brother, it is amazing. I'm truly mind blown. I knew this would be an educational journey, even for me. And by doing this, running on the rules of solvency, it has opened my eyes to how I should properly be investing. So, guys, if you're watching this, man, I am learning just as much as you are. So, don't feel dumb. Don't feel like, it's a stupid question I don't want to ask or I don't want to make comment. Nah, throw it out there because literally I am mind blown every week by what you guys share in the community and also where our portfolio is. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's part of the reason why when Serenity first came to me with the idea for a show like this, part of the reason why I agreed was because through the course of my Discord, right, I've witnessed so many people see the rules of solvency, follow the rules of solvency for a while, and then break one of the rules, and then come to me with their head like this, being like, Cyril, I broke one of the rules. I got liquidated. I won't do it again. And I'm just like, sometimes we need to learn the rules the hard way, right? And what better way to showcase the rules in action so we can all see it taking place and hopefully not have to experience it within our own portfolio, right? Is the power of DCA, right? So that you can see how much you would be down if you weren't utilizing something like a strategic DCA over a period of time, or I still kind of keep tabs on assets that we've sold, right? And when we have a good little example, right? Because obviously we haven't sold a whole lot of things yet. We only sold Elephant, but we can see what they did after, right? And it provides a good example for us of why we DCA in and why we take profit strategically at certain periods, right? Because that will then showcase the power of DCAing out instead of trying to time the top.
Absolutely. And that reminds me, Cyril, we had one asset I think we talked about last week that was getting very borderline of having to sell it. Did that hit that limit yet?
Yeah, so that was the asset Elephant. Yeah, Elephant Money. And it's not, huh?
Didn't we have something else in there that was getting close?
Mass,
yes.
Yeah. So Mass is not quite there yet.
Okay.
It's close, but it's not quite there yet.
Okay.
I think it would need to drop another like 8.5%, and then it gets cut. And then Elephant, we don't really hold any more of that, right? Because we took profit, but we kept a small moon bag, and then we put that moon bag to work by pairing it with some BNB into the Pancake Swap LP so we could earn fees over time, right? Because part of our rules of solvency is that at 2x, we take 25% of our initial investment out. At 3x, we take 25% of our initial investment out. At 4x, we do the same, right?
Right.
And then we leave that last 25% of our original investment in there as a moon bag because we've already made our money back. We've already made profit off of it. And now we're leaving a little bit in there in case it decides to run, right? But we put it to work in the meantime, earning a pittance, but still earning fees off of people swapping it on Pancake Swap. Because remember, you need to treat every dollar that you have as an employee. And if it is not actively working to make you money, then why have you not fired it?
It's kind of a brutal truth, but it's a fact. That's what we need to do.
If your dollar is just sitting there, guess what? It's losing every year due to inflation, right? The reported number was 3.8%, I believe, this last quarter, but we all know realistically when we go down to the grocery store that it's higher than that, right?
Yeah.
The reason why, because again, CPI, Consumer Price Index, inflation, all that fun stuff, a big chunk of that comes from the price of gasoline, right? So even though food costs are still creeping up and cost of living and everything is going up, dude, my electric bill was $471. I'm just like, why? But anywho, cost of living is going up, right? Just because the price of gas is coming down recently because nobody's really traveling much in the winter, right? It makes it look better. Your money's losing if it's just sitting there. It needs to actively be making you at least more than what inflation devalues it each year. Otherwise, why do you got it? At least buy an asset with it that you can sell later.
Exactly. And yeah, that's a real important thing. And that's one thing, I love that the community voted for the Cure Crew Fund because those are all things that are working for us. They're not just sitting there waiting. And our blue chips are great. Don't get me wrong. But our blue chips are sitting there. They're not doing nothing besides waiting for the price to go up. So I love the DeFi side. I love the fact that we've got something that actually is working for us. So I think it's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and also, guys, if you want to get in the Cure Crew Fund or learn more about it, I throw a couple links in the chat there because there's the low risk and the high risk, and they are different. So definitely do your own research, do your homework, and decide which one you like, and you'll share your findings if that's something you want to get into. Or jump to Discord and share your crypto project. What is exciting you? Let us know and discuss the vote and vote for whatever you want because you guys are helping to form this journey.
Absolutely. But
so, Cyril, I'm going to interrupt because I know we're about to wrap up. I know we're over on time, but I've got a favor to ask of the community. Everybody out there watching this, if you're enjoying this journey, I need one huge favor from you.
Is it hit?
I need to. That too.
Yes.
No, that's not it. I need you to jump in the Discord and I need to talk to that guy right there. Because you see, we're coming close to the end of our season. Our contract is almost up. And what I need is your support. To say, hey, Cyril, we need you to guide us into the next bull market. Because I know you've only got like 20 shows left or something. And by the time the Rags to Riches 1 year is done, we're going to be right at the start of that up here. We need a mentor. We need a guide. And you got to help me get this guy back. So everybody jump out there, try and harass Cyril there, and see if we can sign him up for one more season.
You trying to rope me into a season 2?
Yeah, I think we need to have a season 2. But that's going to take your guys' support to do that. You got to give them a reason. So tell your friends, tell your family, hit the like button, subscribe, and definitely tune in every week because we're here for you. And so if nobody's here, not much reason for him to be here or for me to be here. So please help us support and grow this channel and make it an amazing journey into the next bull market.
Well, I have been seeing that the number of votes have been going up. So that's cool. Last episode I said that it won't be long until we had to go to the grubfish one. Or I said that before the stream, I think.
Yeah.
Hanging out backstage with you. It wouldn't be long before we had to do the grubfish wiggle one because there'd be too many names for us to do the Royale.
and here we are today.
So, thanks to every one of you for showing up to listen to us ramble and yak on for about an hour and on a Thursday night of all nights. And, I appreciate each and every one of you, all of you guys for tuning in. And I'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. I want to second that. Say, hey, thank you so much for spending your time with us. It means the world to us. So thank you. Be safe out there and looking forward to see you tomorrow in Freaky Friday. So have a great night, guys.
Take care.